Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper, and I'm back today with another card using the Delightful Wishes stamp set and dies. The stamp set has lots of images, some that are two-step stamping, this one is and this one is, and then there are lots and lots of dies which I haven't got on my desk because they are all over by my die cutting machine, but I'll talk you through what I've done. So let's get started. So this is the card that we're going to make today. It's using Lemon Lolly and Peach Pie. So Lemon Lolly was I think previously might have been an in colour, or it might have just been a new colour, but it's nice to have another yellow. And Peach Pie is one of the current in colours, which will move to being the reserve ink or previous in colour in May, when we get a new catalogue, because we always get a new set of in colours. Okay, so what I've done on this, as I said, I've used a Lemon Lolly base, and then I've embossed the front of the base with the exposed brick 3D embossing folder. Now, I'm just going to move that card to one side and bring in the bits and pieces I've got prepared. So if you just want to emboss the front of a card and not a separate panel, so with a separate panel obviously you'd put the whole piece of card in there. To do the front of the card, you either need to tuck it in like that, so it does the front of the card, or in this case, because there's a directional pattern, I don't know if you can see there's a directional pattern of the brickwork on this one. Sorry, should always have the Stampin' Up logo at the front. And what I've done is I've opened up my card and I've inserted it, making sure that I'm clear of that blank space at the top, and closed the folder down and made sure that my crease line is on the edge of the embossing folder. Now, ordinarily, I would always tell you to run your embossing folder through with this edge first, which is shaped. I don't know if you can see that. You might have to just take, oh sorry, just knocked the camera. You might have to just take my word for it. That is like a beveled edge to help it go through. If you fold it back like that, you're stretching this edge as you run it through. So in this instance, put it in that way and run it through with the cardstock at the back. Okay, so that's how I did the front of that card. And then what I've done is I've used the perennial postage stamp dies, which are these dies. I'm sorry if you heard my husband come in and just tell me he's put chips on for the tea. These are the perennial postage stamp dies, and what I've done is I've used two of these dies. So I've used the second to largest, which is this one, and I've used that to cut out this piece of Peach Pie like that. Okay, and that's going to go diagonally across our card. And then what I've done, just for a bit of contrast, is I've used, oh, dies are sticking together. I've used this one, which fits here. It would be really nice if there was a die between this one and this one, but there isn't, so we've used that one. Okay, I really love these postage stamp dies. I've used them a lot. Okay, I'm just going to pop those to one side. Okay, and using that smaller die, I've cut another piece of Lemon Lolly, and that is going to be angled in the opposite direction. So let's start building some of this up. So I'm using Tombow multi-purpose liquid glue to stick this bit down. Now, it's always a good idea to use something with good sticking power when you're sticking it onto an embossed layer. I always open my card up so it's not bouncing around, and you just need to make sure that the two corners of this postage stamp don't stick over the edge of the card, otherwise it'll protrude in your envelope. Okay, and then this smaller one in Lemon Lolly is going to go over the top of that in the opposite direction. It's about as random as I get, I'm afraid. Feel free to put it a different direction if you try this card. Okay, and that one's just going to sort of sit in the middle there like that. Oh, and I've got squelching glue. It will come off. That is the only trouble with a new glue bottle. It does tend to come out quite quickly. Right, so that's our card there. And then what I've done is I've die cut some of the flowers. So there's not a lot of stamping in this card. So these dies are the 2-step dies for the flowers. So I've got the backgrounds done in peach pie. So I've got a bigger one. And then this is cut in lemon lolly, the smaller detail bit. And then I've got another one. So this is the sort of half flower, if you like. And again in peach pie and lemon lolly for that bit. Okay, I'm just going to pop that out of there. Now, I've found when putting these together, a pair of reversible tweezers is your friend. So I'm just going to put the tiniest amount I can manage out of a new glue bottle. I'm just asking for quite a lot. And you don't need to cover the whole thing in glue. Now, if you don't like using wet glue on little areas like this, the obvious thing would be to cut it using some of our double-sided adhesive paper. So you stick it to the back of your piece of cardstock that you're die cutting, and then you run it through your die cutting machine, and then you can peel off the backing, and you've basically got a ready-made sticker. Okay, so that's our smaller flower. Now, with this bigger one, I've sat here for ages and ages playing with this, trying to work out the best way to stick the top onto the bottom bit. And to be honest, there's not an obvious way. So what I've been doing is finding these 2 bumps here, which are fairly regular, and then sort of lining up that curve and these edges. It isn't easy. I'm not gonna lie, there probably is a proper way to do it, and I probably should watch some YouTube videos to try and work out the way to do it. But you know, we're just going with it. Okay, so what I've been doing is lining up this knobbly bit here with this bit here. I'm sorry, hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I just need to put it down to stick it on. And then trying to make sure that this curve here is on top of a piece of the other colour. I think that's probably as near as we're going to get it. And again, I'm using Tombow because that does give me a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, I think that's probably as good as we're going to get that. And then I've got a couple of leaves, which I've cut using the leaf die from Old Olive. And that one is 2 together. There are some other dies for leaves, which are still on the cardboard. These ones here. So these are like 2-part dies, but I'm happy with those plain ones for now. And then the other thing I've done, where's my other half of the flower gone? Is I've cut the smallest flower, again, the 2 sections. Hopefully you'll be able to see that a bit better when I get some glue on it and stick it together. And I'm just, again, putting the tiniest, you almost have to sort of squeeze and then let go quickly. And just remember, if you do get Tombow where you don't really want it, let it dry and then you can go over it with a glue rubber. Okay, so that's our 3 flowers and our 2 leaves. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to pop the glue away. We're going to put the flowers on using dimensionals. You can see I've got quite a few others here that I've cut. What I try and do is cut several at a time. Now you can see, looking on the back of that, that clearly isn't where that's meant to go, but you know, that'll have to do for now. Okay, so on the bigger flower, I'm using our standard dimensionals. I'm just going to put 2 of those on the back there. And on the half flower, whatever I've done with it, this is the problem when you have, that one, when you have lots of stuff on your desk. I'm using the mini dimensionals for this. I'm popping a couple of those on the back. And then our little flower, that just needs 1 mini in the middle. Right, so I'm starting with the bigger flower first. to position that. And I think we're going to go just over the edge of the lemon lolly postage stamp section, and then we're going to bring in the little sort of half flower, and that's going to go sort of there somewhere, and then we're just going to fill in the gap in the middle with our little tiddly one there. And then again, I'm putting mini dimensionals on the backs of these leaves. And again, it's just a case of positioning it where you think it looks best, really. And then I'm just going to tuck in these leaves behind the flower. I think we're going to go there with that one this time. Put one there. You could cut a third one and put one there. And then what I've done, this is pretty much the only stamping in this card, is I've stamped the wishing sentiment, and I've die cut it with the more scripty die. So there are two dies. One is more of a background and one is the actual sort of script of the word. So I've used the stamp to stamp that, and then that's going to go on the bottom. And again, we're going to put that on with some mini dimensionals. Oh, that doesn't really fit there. So again, you could cut this using the double-sided adhesive sheets and stick it on more like a sticker. And that is going to go at an angle to sort of match the angle of our lemon lolly section across there. And then at the moment it just says wishing, so we need an insert. So what I've done for this, I'm using lemon lolly again, and I've pulled out the happy birthday to you sentiment. Just inking that up, try and get that level in the middle, which is impossible when you've got a camera in the way. Hopefully that's not too bad. And then what I've done is there are these small flowers here, which are two-step stamping, but I want it to be more of a subtle look. So I've just going in with the detail this time. So I've got those three down the bottom, and then I'm just going to put one here just to sort of give that effect of a little bit of floral. You could obviously put the backing one in, I just chose not to. And then we're going to stick that into the middle of our card. Okay. So that's going to go inside our card for us to write on. And I don't always put an I do always put an insert in. I don't always stamp on it with a specific greeting until I'm ready to send the card. And then what we're going to do, we're just going to bring in a wink of Stella to just add a little bit of shine to those middle sections of the flowers. There we go. I don't know if you'll be able to pick up that wink of Stella on the camera. It doesn't usually show up, but I can assure you it's quite glittery. Okay, so let's bring in the one we made before, and this is the card now. I just want to point this out. You might notice that my cards are two different sizes. That was not intentional. I grabbed a half sheet of lemon lolly out of the open pack of the lemon lolly cardstock, and clearly I hadn't cut that down in half, had I? So anyway, that's the size it should be, the C6, and this is just a little bit smaller, but it still looks just as nice. So there's our cards. I hope you'll give it a try. Quite nice and quick to make up if you want to do a bulk makeup, because you can die cut all the bits and then just sit and put them together. So anyway, that's it from me for today, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy stamping, and thanks for watching.